Myself, Dr. Bhat. I am from the Department of HNS. I am working as an assistant professor. We have already discussed in the previous lectures Environmental Protection Acts. Then we have discussed the waste management, solid waste management, municipal waste management, or hazards management. Then we have discussed the environmental impact assessment processes. Then we have discussed the environmental management plans. Today our topic is the sustainable development goals. So we will start the today's topic that is very important in order to make people aware about the sustainable developments. First, we should understand the proper definition of the sustainable development. So, the concept of sustainable development is a universal call. Yani it has been accepted universally, it has been given universally for the protection of the environment for future generations to come. The concept of sustainable development goal is to adopt, we can say it has been adopted by the United Nations member states in the year 2015. What was the main goal? The main goal of sustainable development was to end poverty. We should protect the planet, and we must, or we can say we should ensure peace, prosperity for all by the year 2030. In Sustainable Development Goals, there were 17 interconnected goals that require balancing economic growth, social inclusions, and environmental protection. And we should have a proper economic growth to boost the economy of the world. We should have a proper social interactions, or we can say the social inclusions. And above all, we should have a proper planning for the protection of the environment so that we can create sustainable and prosperous future for the present and future generations. That was the important concept behind the sustainable development goals. What were the core components of sustainable development goals? The first one is a universal call to action. Yani we should act on the sustainable development, and that call must be taken and accepted universally. We should have a shared vision and a plan of action for all the countries that must work together to address the global challenges. Then we should have three interconnected pillars. Yani in this we should require sustainable development goals to acquire harmonizing and integrated economic growth, social inclusions, and environmental protection. So the three most important pillars of sustainable development goal are: we should have a proper economic growth, we should have an understanding social inclusions, we should have a properly planning method to monitor environmental protection. Then there are 17 interconnected goals. What are those 17 interconnected goals? They cover the wide range of issues that includes poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, climate change, and peace in the world. These were some of the 17 interconnected goals that we should put into consideration in the sustainable developmental goals. Then there is a time bound targets. What are the time bound targets? The specific time bound targets includes and indicators are intended to be achieved by the year 2030. Yani what were the targets for the sustainable development? It has been taken into account that these targets should be completed or should be achieved by the year 2030. What was the focus on leaving no one behind? The sustainable development goals emphasize the importance of ensuring that all people benefit from a more sustainable and equitable future. Particularly, we should focus particularly on those that are most vulnerable. And we have to protect them. We have to give a proper security to those that are most vulnerable. What are the various aspects of the sustainable development goal? Yani what processes or steps should be put into consideration for the sustainable goal? What are the problems we are facing for sustainable development? The first one is the population explosion. This, I think, is the main problem for sustainable development. Population explosion is a rapid increase in the number of people, usually resulting from high birth rates and low death rates. When the birth rate overcomes the death rate, there will be rapid increase in the population. That is known what we call as population explosion, that can be a threat to the sustainable development, or in that can minimize our efforts in achieving the sustainable development goals. This phenomena puts pressure on the resources. If there is increase in the population, it will increase the pressure on the resource like food, water, housing, and will lead different types of challenges like poverty, unemployment, and environmental degradation. The second most important threat is the crazy consumerism. Crazy consumerism. Crazy consumerism refers to the excessive, unsustainable consumption driven by the desire for new products. We humans are crazy consumers. We want new products day by day. That is known what we call as crazy consumer, which leads, this is the most important threat to the environment, that leads the environmental damage and financial instability. The crazy consumerism is fueled by marketing and social trends that creates a never-ending cycle of shopping and dissatisfaction. We are not satisfied with the products. We want more and more products that may lead to the damage of the environment. Yani that contributes to the depletion of the natural resources. So it will directly impact us. If we tamper with the nature could alter us, and that must have the negative impact on both individual and society as well. So, in order to maintain the sustainable development, we should have a proper knowledge about the negative impacts on the environment, how to save the environment for the future. So, we should have the proper understanding of the utilization of various types of natural resources, that we can say we should have a proper environmental education. Environmental education is the main aim is to increase the knowledge and awareness of different types of environmental issues that should inculcate or foster us with a sense of responsibility, or that can motivate each and every individual and communities to take good steps towards the development of future, or we can say the sustainable future. The environmental education involves learning about how natural environment functions, human impact on them, and the development of proper skills to solve problems and make informed decisions to protect the environment for the future generations to come. It is most important sustainable goal that we should protect the natural resources for the future generations. And one more important threat to the sustainable development is urban sprawl. Urban sprawl is uncontrolled expansion of low density, core dependent development into the surrounding rural and underdeveloped land. It is often characterized by a single family homes on large lots, single use zoning, yani separating. Single use zoning means the separating of residential, commercial and industrial areas. Yani we are separating the residential, commercial and industrial areas. Lack of friendly spaces and public transit. This pattern of growth can lead to the negative impact on the environment and have the very bad social consequences, such as increased air pollution, and we have higher consumption of energies. We are using too much energy and reduced social capital. And one of the important aspects of social developmental goals are the environmental ethics. So we should properly understand the term environmental ethics. Environmental ethics is defined as a philosophy that examines moral relationship between the humans and the natural environment. This is very important to understand the environmental ethics. We should have a proper understanding of the relationship between the humans and their natural world. If we understand this relation on a very positive note, it should have the positive results for the future generations to come, that is known what we call as sustainable development. The environmental ethics explores how we humans should value and act towards the environment. Yani we should make every individual responsible and aware about the negative impacts we should have the environment. The relationship that we should have with the environment in order to minimize the negative impacts on the environment. We should have the proper questioning to the moral stats, and we should have the reasonable and positive responsibilities towards the nature and its resources. And another good concept for the sustainable future, or we can say the environmental sustainable development, is the concept of green buildings. The concept of green buildings. The concept of green buildings is designing, constructing, and operating a building in an environmentally responsible, and it should be resource efficient. The concept of green building is very important and it should be put into consideration, and the people should be make aware about the positive impact the concept of green buildings has on the environment, because we are lacking the responsibilities towards the green environment. This approach minimizes the negative impact of buildings on the environment and human health throughout their life cycle. Key elements of the concept of green buildings including: we should use energy and water efficiently, we should employ sustainable materials, we should construct the buildings, and we should be very responsible in reducing the wastes, and we should create a healthier indoor environments. These are some of the steps that we should take during the development of sustainable green buildings. It should be energy efficient. We should use eco-friendly materials. The waste should be reduced. We should have a proper and well-defined maintainable designs. We should improve the quality of the indoor environment. We should have a proper water efficient management. We should have a proper and efficient water management. These are some of the examples how we should build the green buildings, and that you can easily understand the concept of the green buildings. What are the key principles of green buildings? Energy efficient, yani the building should be designed to use less energy, yani they should be energy efficient systems, yani we should incorporate renewable energy resources like the solar panels that we are using nowadays. The government is always giving us the funds for that, subsidiary funds to install solar panels. That's a good step towards the development of green buildings. Water conservation, we should have the techniques like rainwater harvesting, grey water system, and to reduce the overall water consumption. We should encourage the use of sustainable materials. These includes recycled, recyclable, and non-toxic materials should be used, as well as we can use the renewable resource like specific type of timber and fly ash bricks. Then there is one more principle, that is the reduction of water. We should focus on minimizing the wastes during construction and the operation of buildings. That should be in a way that supports recycling and compositing for residents. Site and source efficiency. Site and source efficiency means we should design the green buildings to have the positive impact on the site by using the land efficiently, and we must be mindful of the local ecosystems. And another principle of green building is the healthier indoor environment. And green buildings should aim to improve the health of occupants through better indoor air quality. There should be the natural lighting and comfortable thermal conditions that often use passive cooling techniques. Passive cooling techniques. And this was the concept of the green buildings. We have described the sustainable development goals, or we can say the environmental development goals, in which we have discussed the threat of overpopulation, crazy consumerism. We have discussed the need of environmental education. We have discussed the key principles to make you understand about the importance of the relationships between the different components of the earth. Most importantly, the relationship between the humans and the proper understanding of the nature around them. Thank you students. These were the lectures that have been included in the unit 5th of the environmental science course, or this was the last lecture. Thank you students. Thank you.